And welcome back. It is the WXCO Morning Report, part of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. And you can also catch us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and go to the 98.9 WXCO channel on YouTube to be able to see our segments and our interviews here on the program. And we got across the table another one of our favorite guest, Randy Radtke, who is the president of the North Central Wisconsin Labor Council and also a member of the Marathon County Board. And Randy, it's been too long. I'll say that's number one. It's been way too long. I haven't talked to you in a while. It's wonderful to see you.
Yeah, and they've seen you again, and always, you always help out with the parade. I always enjoy that, and always enjoy talking with you.
Absolutely. So. That's really the big reason that we wanted you to come in, because it is almost time. It is time, sort of the unofficial end of summer, and the Wausau Labor Day Parade, which I know so many people enjoy coming to.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and research, because I have no idea how many years I've been doing it. It's been a number of years. Yeah. It's been a long time, but I could not even guess at this point how many years it's been. I'm going to try to find out, because it's one of those.
I think we looked at one time. It's over 100. It's about 100 years. So
that's the parade. That's not me doing it.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. I'm trying to work on it.
Okay.
But it's been just an amazing and successful parade. Folks line up early, bring out their seats, and we've been fortunate with the weather the last couple of years, and knock on wood, it'll be again on Monday a beautiful day as well.
Yeah.
But we wanted to talk about a little bit of a change, because in all the years I've been doing the parade, it's been pretty much the same route. For quite a long time. But this year it's a different route, isn't it?
Yeah. Around December 5th of last year, Matt Barnes called me and told me that he wouldn't approve of the existing parade route because of safety concerns with people running into crowds and stuff. So yeah, we've been, we got together with the chief of police, and then we came up with a different route. They want all the routes to start at Marathon Park. It sounds like they would like them to end at the 400 block, but we said, well, it's Labor Day, and they understood that, we want to still have it stop at the Labor Temple,
right.
So yeah. And
well, I mean, you obviously have to be
so it is.
Be cooperative with the police. It's unfortunate, I think it's been a nice route, straight route right to the Labor Temple, but we have to adjust in life.
I mean, I guess you kind of listen to what the police chief has to say, I guess, even though, I don't know if I totally understand it either. My way, you know what I mean? But
well, the old line, I fought the law and the law won. So
yeah.
You're not going to fight the law and win it.
And I guess, the thing is, shortly after that, they had that thing in New Orleans, happen where somebody did. And a few years back, they did have somebody in Waukesha or something. Ran into but I mean, you can always say, well, we're not Waukesha, I guess, either, but it can happen anywhere.
Right.
I think no matter what safety aspects you put into it, if somebody wants to try it, they're probably gonna,
Well, let me just explain what the route is going to be for folks who love to come out and want to get their best spot. The parade will begin at Marathon Park. The lineup will start at 3. The parade itself will start at 4 o'clock. And for Marathon Park, the parade will go up Stewart Avenue to 2nd Avenue, travel down 2nd Avenue to Callan Street, and then turn on South 3rd Avenue, ending at the Wausau Labor Temple. And there'll be food and music and a great celebration. I'll still be at my same spot, right?
Yep. Yeah, you will be at your same spot.
Be at the end of the route. And as folks come by, be able to announce them and give them a little bit of a salute as well. But is your sense that it's going to be similar for the folks that are coming out, that they're going to be able to set up right by the road and have a seat to be able to see everything go by?
Yeah. It's just trying to get that message out. And thanks for having me on today, because that's the thing, is trying to get it out there. We do have flyers and stuff, but don't have a real big budget on to spend for advertising. You know what I mean? So,
Right. No, and it's
so
and I know there's a lot of people that really just love coming out. You have such a wide variety of people that are involved in it. I always enjoy seeing the high school bands that come through. I always enjoy some of the different labor groups that come by. The one that always jumps out is the big hammer and the nail.
Oh yeah, yep.
I
believe that's the Carpenters one.
The Carpenters.
Carpenters.
But there's a lot of different groups that are involved, and there's a lot of elected officials that come on by, and it's always great to see them, to be able to say hello and maybe even get a quick word in. But there's always this talk around Christmas time to make sure that Christmas is celebrated in the right way. I think it's similar here, that it's a holiday, but it's Labor Day.
Oh yeah, it's Labor Day. We're celebrating what labor has done for our communities in our country. And those and two, we got to remind ourselves the struggles that we labor has had over the years to get like the 40-hour, the time and a half after 40 hours, and the 8-hour workday, and the things we fought for.
Part of what I do during the before the parade is you give great information. Part of the booklet often is a history of Labor Day, a history of the labor movement, a history based of what's happened in the state of Wisconsin, and something that has, I think, slipped not just in that realm but generally is the idea that we're forgetting what happened before, because if you forget what happened before, it will happen again. And one of the things, and one of the things I know that you guys do so very well is not to get overly political, because this is bringing everyone together. But I will say here, one of the frustrating aspects I saw in recent years, especially even since January 20th of this year, is Donald Trump saying, well, we want to go back to we were never richer as a country than back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Yeah. But anybody who knows their history knows that was a terrible time for most people, especially workers in the United States of America.
Oh, yeah.
I remember reading a book back in school called The Jungle. Do you remember The Jungle? Upton Sinclair?
I think a little bit.
Talking about the lack of regulation when it came to food, when it came to child labor, when it came to the amount of hours anybody could work. People would work 16-hour days, 7 days a week back in that time.
Oh yeah.
Donald Trump thinks that's a great time in American history.
It's just crazy. In fact, Nancy Stencil, our vice president, her and I went down to see the Bayview tragedy down by Milwaukee there, and the governor at the time told the National Guard to fire on striking workers, and they were fighting for that same thing, the 8-hour workday at the time. And I think a lot of people forget how long it took us to get time and a half, or the 8-hour work. Right. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for play.
Child labor laws.
Yeah, child labor laws.
I mean, when you look down over the last, now 40 years, let's roughly say, when you look at some of the laws that were passed, whether it was child labor laws, whether it was clean food laws, whether it was 8-hour workday, whether it was paid vacation. Yep. I mean, there are so many different things, because life is more than working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, in order to have a family, to have some sort of balance in life. And back in that era that Donald Trump says was such a wonderful era, when you had what you call the robber barons, the Gilded Age, when you had incredible wealth in a small group of hands. Isn't it feel like, again, history repeating itself?
It does feel like that. Yep.
How is the labor, the health of labor here in central Wisconsin and here in the country, in your mind?
Well, I think I think unions are, have I believe it's more positive. I since I've been started getting involved with the labor movement way back in '92, people are more wanting to join unions. So I think that's as far as, but I kind of say, there's a few things that make the union strong. First of all, it's your membership. Workers wanting to get involved. Obviously it's an organization. It needs money, so the dues, But then also another thing is too is how much will the government let us? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what we're always constantly fighting. They want to, the corporations have a lot of money out
Let
there.
me ask you, because you hit it on the head, that government and policy has such a major factor when it comes to the ability of organizers, of
Oh
union
yeah,
leaderships to be able to even form unions. And of course, during the Walker administration, we saw a very hard push to
oh yeah.
to
Look what he's done with AFSCME. I remember going to a lot of conferences. AFSCME. They, with the state and federal, or the state workers,
Mhm.
and with Act 10, taking a lot of their collective bargaining rights away,
And
and
also,
having them recertify every year.
right.
And then of course you had the right to work that came around.
Well, the idea of right to work for less, right?
less. Yep. And I think that needs to be explained, because some people
Well, yeah, you say right to work. What's wrong with that?
yeah, right to work.
Let me ask you, what is the issue that you
Well,
would have with
the
the
thing
right to
is,
work?
it's basically, I call it, basically we gotta represent the freeloaders, the ones that don't want to pay, and that's the main thing, and then and they do that intentionally to just try to destroy unions, take the money away from them, because
Yeah.
then yeah. So if you're in a union shop, you don't have to pay union dues, but we have to represent you
And you get the benefits.
and get the benefits of the contract, and
Mhm.
if you get fired, we're supposed to represent you.
Yep.
Otherwise we can get in trouble. The unions can get in trouble, and that's not right.
Again, we're talking to Randy Radtke, president of the North Central Wisconsin Labor Council, as we get set for the Wausau Labor Day Parade coming up on Monday. Yep, it starts at 4 p.m. The lineup starts at 3 p.m. at Marathon Park. And again, very happy that myself being part of this great event on Labor Day Monday. Looking forward to announcing it yet again. Something I'm going to kind of circle back a little bit to what you were talking about a little bit earlier in terms of, I think, the viewpoint of labor in the United States. I have sensed, and I've seen some actual stories and numbers that say that there is a much more positive look at labor and
Yeah.
labor unions in this country, not just by the labor members themselves, but by people outside of the labor unions, understanding the good that comes from unions and labor representation. And that's been a hard battle. I think it goes back to maybe the start of the conservative revolution in the late 1970s, 80s, especially with Reagan, where you think back, and again, I love history. I love the idea of how history does really give you a roadmap to where we've been and to where we're going. And you think back to the very early days of the Reagan administration and the air traffic controllers, where he made a line in the sand, basically, that labor unions are hurting America. And a lot of people started to believe that for, I think, a long time in the 80s and the 90s, but there has been a turnaround.
Yeah, I think we, like I said, I kind of got involved with the labor movement in 1992. I was lucky enough to see Cesar Chavez before he got passed away. Talked a little bit about his organizing days, but then you go on to talk about the what's changed, and I think we had a big wake up with Walker. Sometimes things, I think, have to get bad before they can get better. I think it was a wake up call, and I think it was an education. I think it educated people about collective bargaining. I think people really didn't know what collective bargaining was. Maybe we kind of and maybe some of that's on labor too, because we take things for granted. We become, like one of the teachers said at that time, we become complicit. Because if you remember, a lot of the teachers supported Walker at the time, and I think that after that, though, for some odd reason, I think after that event in Wisconsin, I believe that's changed it. I think it was a wake up call, and it started educating more people about the labor movement, and collective bargaining.
It's one thing to stop the slide. And I think that, there was the slide during that era where so many laws were changed to hurt labor and hurt unions. It's another thing then to claw back and then build on. And unfortunately, with still a conservative assembly and a conservative state senate, it's hard, even with a Democratic governor, for folks that we're heading to the fall of 2025, and then will be 2026, which of course will be another election year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of discussion that perhaps in the right circumstances that Democrats could gain control of at least one of the bodies, if not both of the bodies, with of course a governor's race coming up as well. As we go into 2026, in your position with the North Central Wisconsin Labor Council and your position as a worker, what do you want to hear from candidates in 2026? Not just to maybe stop the slide, but actually start building on some ideas or positive pieces of legislation for the union and for the workers of Wisconsin.
Well, I'd like to hear a little bit more about what they're going to do with overturning Act 10 and I mean, Michigan did it. They got rid of right to work, and I like those are two main issues, but another thing that of course always affects the workers too is our health care, and but yeah, definitely the Act 10 though, and the right to work issues are very, very important, and like I said, the whole thing with our health care in our country too.
One thing that frustrates me when it comes to political parties and politicians that maybe I support is sometimes I can intellectually understand what is possible and what is not possible.
Yep.
But at the same time, in order to make something that may not be possible now possible in the future, you have to educate, you have to talk. And sometimes I don't think a lot of the politicians that perhaps are allies to labor and unions talk about it enough to build the foundation to actually make real change.
Oh yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. And I think even in the labor movement, I think we got to go into more detail, like right to work. People don't understand it all, so I think education, they won't let us have a lot of this in school either anymore,
Right.
and they won't teach it in school. So we gotta, another thing that kind of bothers me too is that I hear, well, Randy, but you're into politics. I'm not. Everybody, my feeling is everybody needs to be involved in politics. Politics, whether you like it or not, it affects us in our daily lives every day. I mean, if we as workers aren't going to be involved in politics, our bosses are, and so.
You may not want to say it. I'm going to say it right here. When I hear somebody say that to somebody like yourself, I want to say, well, what about Dick Eline? And the millions and millions of dollars that he pumps into every single election individually. Diane Hendricks of ABC Supply does the very same thing. The idea of what Elon Musk did here in the state of Wisconsin in the state Supreme Court race. When you think about a very small group of people and the amount of money that they put into elections compared to what somebody like yourself and other members of unions. And one thing I think we need to underline is, and I will let you explain this, that unions are not one party either, or one set of beliefs.
Oh no, man. I mean, we got people that are officers that are Republican. I mean, it's we got a lot of people in there's definitely.
You can't put all the union money into one person or a campaign or idea. That there are rules, aren't there?
Yeah, there's definitely rules, and
Let me ask you, because again, you do, and we're going to talk briefly here as well about your role with the county board, but money in politics. What do you see? Because you're fighting against I would say you and a lot of the ideas that you espouse and that I've heard from you over the years are against massive amount of money. What is the effect of money in our political system?
It influences. These they get money. They feel beholden then to that organization or that company or that person. Especially and there's no way that labor can match the millionaires out there that are giving their money. The Citizens United. That's another one,
right? And that takes away from the true battle of ideas.
Yeah,
and I've said this a lot on this program and over the last number of years. is that for our system to flourish, you need an educated electorate.
Yep.
You need a true battle of ideas. And so much of the money that goes into it is not, I would say, intellectually honest
Yeah.
in terms of the battle of ideas. And that makes it so much harder, I think, to get real change as well.
Yeah. Well, you look at, I'm trying to think of the organization now where they just, I think it might be through the Heritage Foundation where they just have these laws written up for them to.
Yes. So through the Koch brothers as well.
Yeah. I can't think of the name of it.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, that basically they will drop on the desk.
Yes. Yeah. So they don't have to do nothing
in the format that you say. Here you go. Just put it in, and now we can have this law come through. And that's wrong on every level.
Another thing I'd like to say is that every now and then I get to go down and we'll have lobby days with the steel workers and other unions do it too. Mm-hmm. I know. And, it's like really, I think they're so entrenched by corporate lobbyists that I think, it's good to see that we at least get down there every now and then to, get a group of union leaders, workers down there to voice our opinions to them,
You're also a member of the Marathon County Board.
Yep.
First question I want to ask you is, how long have you been on the board right now, folks out there? Not that long, really.
No,
so you're in your first term, right?
Yeah.
So you're in your first term as a member of the county board. What have you, for lack of a better term, enjoyed it?
Yeah, I think I guess it. One thing I got to say about the county board being on there, there's a lot of disagreements there. We're, different as far as political views, but for some odd reason, I've enjoyed a lot of the conversations we've had with people I've disagreed with,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's a time I wish it would come back on the national level because, that's to me what made our country great is we're not all going to agree, but
right.
At least respecting each other and having conversations because a lot of things a lot of good comes out of those conversations,
Great battles of ideas lead to great ideas.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. It's that, and something that you had said to me before we went on the air is that there was, I think, a sense for a number of years within the county board, which has been thought of as a rather conservative body, but at the same time, even with a large conservative majority, there's been a lot of, you would call it, disagreeable relationships within the board. You're saying that now that you have not found it that way, that it's been a positive in terms of, yes, you can disagree and you have disagreed with a lot of folks, but at the same time, there has been listening, there has been cordial discussion, and the old idea of disagreeing without being disagreeable. That I think that's good for people to know. Was that a surprise to you?
Yeah, it was. I was, I thought it would be more of a, fighting,
a lot of cracks in
heads,
right?
I think, it's, so I guess that was one of the pretty more impressive things, especially like you said, it's more of a conservative board.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, I do enjoy having them conversations like that. And you're talking about people that really care, whether you agree with them or not, they care about our community.
What are some of the issues that you've been focused on the board? That jump out and are important to you to have your voice be heard.
Well, I think
even if you don't have the vote sometimes.
I don't know. I just I can't think of one offhand, but on the Health and Human Services right now, and
right,
you
also mentioned that we're coming up on budget time.
Oh yeah.
How much? What's your sense on how? Because sometimes it's more difficult than other times to try to get to a budget that works. Do you feel like the county's in a decent place at this point as you start this discussion?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, we're just kind of started it,
Right.
But I mean, I think, I think we're, people are open, and I like the way it went last year. I think it. And I think this year is the same way. I think people have this sense. I mean, these people are really concerned about the way our money is being spent. That's
the state government just finished up its budget process. How much does what happens in Madison affect what you have to do here in Marathon County?
Big time. I mean, we're basically living, the county board is, we have rules that we got to live by the state, that are set by the
Right.
state. And and too, that's we've been what hamstring,
Hands behind your back, basically, more than anything else.
because the way we spend money, there's certain things that are capped off. I mean, we gotta,
I know that.
I'm trying to explain.
I know the budget process is exceptionally, there's so many layers to it. How important is 2026 in this state? Because it just feels like this, when you talk about that instead of just getting by, that it would be nice to start an era where, frankly, I'd call it, we've been in an era of great austerity in this country and in this state for such a long time. And I know people say, oh, you just want to spend a lot of money, but boy, I think that there are so many different areas that people struggle with that government can have a role in it. Not the complete, where you're living your life based on having the government take care of you, but there are ways that the government can help make lives better for the citizens of this state, isn't there?
Oh yeah, I mean, you just take like even with the homeless. I mean, there's just so much to it that people want to just take a broad look at it and say, but there's so many small pieces that need to fit together just right to make our lives better every day. And you may think that, oh well, we're spending that much money on that, but that maybe that'll help people be employable, or and the more people that are like, and how will that affect our crime rate if more people are out there, if we're not in addressing issues like mental health and drug abuse and other things? How is that going to affect it? It's going to cost us more money somewhere else if we don't address those issues, So
there's been many studies shown that an investment of $1 brings back $3 and $4.
Yeah.
Literally, that this investment, the idea of not spending anything somehow saves you money, is a fallacy.
Yeah.
It's been studied, and nonpartisan folks have said, hey, you make that small investment, you get paid back many times over.
I think, I think that's one thing that I think needs to be talked about more too, and educate more too, about how why should we give to
wasteful spending?
Wasteful spending, and
instead of investment.
It's an investment in our community.
Investment in our community, investment in our people, in our businesses, in our educational facilities. There's so many different areas where then it gets paid back many times over.
Yeah.
So
I mean, education too, that's another one, with schools and all that. It all, there's so many little things that we all a lot of us take for granted,
And I know it is complicated. Like I think you're trying to explain, there's so many small parts. It truly is. It's not a 12-piece puzzle. It's a 5,000-piece puzzle.
Yeah.
Where you have to be, number one, very, I think, smart about things, and also be very aware about things, because there are always unintended consequences. There are unintended consequences when you say we're not going to spend any money either. They aren't saying that they don't care about people. They just seem to think that the money doesn't go to the right spots. But it's up to folks like us, I would say, to explain why investment is good for the communities as well.
Yeah.
Let's finish up by just reminding people that we'd love to see you on Monday, because it really is a celebration. It is an important holiday. It's a wonderful chance to get together with a lot of friends and family, see a lot of bands and lots of great floats and everything else.
Yeah.
Monday, the new route again. It begins at Marathon Park, goes again to the Labor Temple, where it always finishes.
Yeah.
But the route will be different. Again, from Stewart Avenue to 2nd Avenue 2nd Avenue to Callan Street and South 3rd Avenue at the Wausau Labor Temple. Is there, I know if you Google Wausau Labor Day Parade, you can get information. Any other way for people who may think, well, where am I going to sit? Where am I going to take my lawn chairs?
Chairs, yeah. Well, I mean, I know Stewart Ave, along Stewart Ave there's they will have both sides of the road closed off there. So they're you should be able to line up your lawn chairs even in Marathon Park when we come out, you
Sure.
know. There should be obviously it's new to me too, you know.
I
I mean,
know,
it's
huh?
gonna be but
I hope I'm not all by myself by the
No.
Labor Temple. That won't be fun. I want some people to be hanging out there too.
yeah, that too. I mean, the whole route. I mean, there'll be Callan Street. Yeah, definitely. Hey, there's plenty of room where Chad will be. So
There you go.
make sure you join Chad Holmes by the stage.
And if you have questions, I'll try my darndest to answer them.
Yeah.
Because as you say, going through it the first time, we're going to learn something on
Oh
Monday.
yeah.
But again, I know the weather through the weekend's supposed to be great. I haven't seen for Monday yet. So
Yeah.
hopefully it'll still last through Monday. Have a beautiful day and have a wonderful an event that I know that you work so hard. And I was talking about some of the folks that are being honored. Robbie Hughes, who's a terrific guy. I had a chance to talk to him.
He's done a lot of great
months.
stuff in our city.
Grand Marshal, if I'm not mistaken.
Grand Marshal, yeah.
And you have the Citizen of the Year. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me here, but I was talking about it earlier on the program. But again, you always honor some really terrific folks. And that's another fun part of the event as well.
Yeah, we this year, you know, it's trying to stick with more like the bricklayers and IBW, the guy that, you know, so
no, that's, and again, one day a year. I hope everybody does take a moment and read the program and know the people that, many of which gave their lives to try to make our lives a little bit better. To again, not put all the power in the hands of just a couple of people, but to give political power, economic power, and then so much more outside of that to the people that work every day. And it's so vitally important.
Oh yeah. It's that's, I mean, we gotta just keep fighting for what we have now, and we know and things that we've lost a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
but I know you always fight the good fight, and you've been doing that for such a long time in so many different ways. It's always a pleasure to be part with you and the other great folks with the Labor Council for the Labor Day Parade, and I'm looking forward to doing it again on Monday.
Yeah, well, pleasure to always have you, and thanks for making our voices heard too.
Absolutely. So. Randy Radtke, President, North Central Wisconsin Labor Council. So again, come on out on Monday for Labor Day, September the 1st, and the Wausau Labor Day Parade.
And I mean, and too, make sure you stop back at the Labor Temple. And I mean, there'll be food there with a band.
Great food.
Yep, great food and band. There'll be bands there. So, I'm looking forward to see everybody on Labor Day.
Be a lot of fun. Thanks again, Randy, for hopping in. We're not going to make it so long this time, okay?
Okay.
Randy Radtke with us. We'll take a time out. Be back with more here on 98.9 WXCO.
And we're clear.
Terrific.